What do you have on your chest?
The letter A.
What is it for? Why do you wear this obscure thing?
I committed adultery, and I was forever sentenced to wear this letter A. I had to spend 3 months in jail and stand on a public scaffold holding my baby Pearl. They made me make the letter A myself. Everyone stood there and asked me about it. The public speculated.
Why didn't you run away with Pearl in the beginning? Before the years of waiting for Dimsdale, were you waiting on his possible judgment, or was there something else at hand?
I wanted to make right for my sins. I couldn't just run away from it at all. They sentenced me to do this. I was accountable, and I had to do it for myself. In the end, I knew things would work out, and they did.
Why does your mother have the letter A on her chest?
She won't tell me. She just talks about other things.
How did people treat you for this?
People were cruel to me because I was different. They saw the letter A. They knew that I was an adulterer, and they treated me likewise for my sins.
So, Hester, Dimsdale is the father of this child. Why wouldn't you disclose this information with us 8 years ago when we first asked you about it?
I wanted to take full accountability. Dimsdale wasn't married. I was. He wasn't the adulterer. I was.
I was a priest, well respected. I could not be seen as a sinner. People would lose faith. Yeah, it was my job to keep believing. Priests are not allowed to be married, let alone have relations with a married woman.
Oh, you're Chillingworth. So your wife, she's an adulterer. Can you explain to me how you feel about this?
It's not her fault. She was young and pretty, and I was just old and ugly.
So you're saying you don't blame her?
No, I don't blame her. I do blame the man she cheated on me with, though. He's the reason for my woes.
Did you know who your father was at this point in time?
No, I didn't know.
I am Pearl's father. Me and her kinda sinned together.
Were you worried when Dimsdale fell ill and Roger was tasked with taking care of him?
I was very worried. I began to see Chillingworth go down a very dark path. He became overly involved in my affair, even though between then and now, he didn't really care. I didn't know how Chillingworth would react when he found out that Dimsdale was the father of my child.
Did you think that Roger had ill intentions towards Dimsdale?
I did. It's the reason I asked him to run away with Pearl and die. Cheer up.
So, Hester, you told Dimsdale who Roger was. Can you please tell me about how that went?
We were alone in the forest by a small creek, and I told him that Chillingworth, his doctor, was Chillingworth, my husband. He got really angry, but he soon turned that anger towards Chillingworth. He blamed him. He worried that Chillingworth would tell everyone, but I had to assure him that he wouldn't.
Pearl, how did you feel when you first met your real father?
I felt confused meeting him for the first time. It was just me and my mother for such a long time, and I didn't know how to react to him being around.
You missed parts of Pearl's life. What did the townspeople think of her?
They thought that Pearl was insane. They thought that she was the child of a demon.
Chillingworth, why did you lie about your identity when you came here for the first time?
I wanted to start fresh and not have to face the shame of my wife.
The only way to be free is to confess.
Why did you follow Hester and Dimmesdale to England?
I wasn't going to let him get away.
So, you're saying you intended to kill him?
Yes, but he escaped my revenge, so I couldn't kill him like I wanted to.
What are you gonna do now that Dimmesdale's dead?
Pearl and I will still go to Europe like we planned. We'll get on the boat, just without Dimmesdale.
Do you remember the day that you kissed your dad's forehead? The day he died?
I remember.
Well, what did you see on his chest?
It was a Scarlet A. It looked exactly like the one that my mother has always worn.
It was there, my own Scarlet A.
Hester, what was on Dimmesdale's chest the day he died?
The letter A.
It stood for my guilt and my sin.
What did you see on Dimmesdale's chest? What did you...
Didn't see anything at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure nothing was there.
It weighed heavy on my heart.
So the meteor that crossed the sky the night that Dimmesdale and Hester met, what did that meteor mean to you, Roger?
It was just a meteor. I don't really think it meant anything.
Pearl, what did that meteor mean to you when your mother and your father first met for the most recent time?
I didn't know.
Hester, the meteor that you saw, what did it mean to you?
The letter A was a sign. Across the sky in the shape of the letter A, just like my letter A. It extended the letter to Dimmesdale as well.
When you were there for Dimmesdale's speech, when you heard it for the first time, what did it mean to you? How do you think it went?
Dimmesdale's election sermon was good. The people seemed to love it. It was really unfortunate that he died right afterwards. He talked about how the people there were selected by God, and that how he was there that day because of God. And I agree. He was meant to be there. He admitted to everyone that he was Pearl's father. He admitted his involvement to me, and he died Pearl's father.
My speech was a revelation. Everyone loved it, of course. It was my final time on Earth, and I fulfilled what I needed to do.
After Dimmesdale died, what did you want to do with your life, Hester?
I left Boston with Pearl, but I returned alone later. I needed to do more charity work. I still wear the scarlet letter A, although it doesn't have much stigma. It doesn't mean A for adulterers who commit sins anymore, or A for the able to help their community. When I die, they're going to bury me in the cemetery next to Dimmesdale.
Pearl, you had some crazy things happen to you in your childhood. Once your father died, what did you do? What happened to you?
Chillingworth died and left all of his money to me. My mom and I left, but she came back here. I lived the rest of my life abroad.